there's a right way to do a level 1 forecast and there's a wrong way. And in this snapshot over here, it's really just guesswork.
Joining me today is Josh Aharonoff, founder and CEO of Mighty Digits. He is a fractional CFO for fast-growing businesses. Josh is also the mastermind behind Your CFO Guy, where he shares finance and FP&A insights with an audience of over 400,000 professionals.
So let's kick off our discussion with talking about these 4 levels of forecasting. And before we even get to level 1, I want to introduce you to a level 0 forecast. And as you can imagine, level 0 is really just your financial statements. There's no talk about the future. There's no story that goes along with what exactly happened. And the challenge with a level 0 forecast is you don't really get the insights that are necessary in order to make the right decisions in your business. And this is where a lot of people who are working in accounting, this is where they do the handoff. They close out the books. They present the financial statements via just a full P&L and balance sheet. And especially for those people who don't have a finance and accounting background, which is really the majority of the CEOs that I work with, it could be difficult to really get insights out of this view. So because of that, I want to introduce us all to a level 1 forecast. And a lot of times when I meet with CEOs, they introduce me to their forecast, and I'm not surprised to see it is a level 1 forecast, which is really just a sales dashboard. And it showcases information in terms of how much they plan on generating in sales, let's say over the next 12 months. Now, if you're an early stage company, just presenting a sales forecast may be good enough. If you're an early stage startup and you're looking to raise your seed round, probably the most amount of questions that you're going to get is around your actual business model, because that's what it's ultimately going to take in order for you to generate the returns that investors are looking for. But there's a right way to do a level 1 forecast and there's a wrong way. And in this snapshot over here, it's really just guesswork. You're really just typing in a bunch of numbers into a dashboard. And although that could present a pretty output like what you see over here, it doesn't really give you the insights, which again, I want everyone to take away from this session. One of the most important parts of FP&A is delivering insights to help drive better decisions. And the key thing to focus on, not only with a level 1 forecast, but really any sort of forecast, is how your inputs will ultimately drive your outputs. So with a level 1 forecast, your inputs are really your acquisition channels. I see a lot of clients that I work with, they'll start with a tops-down approach where we'll say, okay, we want to hit, let's say, $1 million in ARR by the end of this year. But they don't really design the mechanism in how they could actually achieve that and the corresponding costs that come along with that. So the key thing in any stage of a forecast that you really need to be able to develop is a mechanism in which inputs drive those outputs, which really is what a financial model is. And there are a number of ways that you can forecast revenue. Now, these are the 8 most common ways, but there's really no limit. It depends on if you're, let's say, a SaaS company. It'll be really common, especially if you're selling to enterprises, that you're going to have a sales team. And that sales team is going to have a ramp period, typically over a few months, in which they get familiar with the actual product and the actual customer base, and they start setting out those relationships. And then they have a quota. And that quota is typically attained usually across the board at 80%. So now you have a number of inputs. As you bring on a new sales rep, that sales rep goes through a ramp period. They get ramped up, they hit their quota at 80%. Well, now you have a projected new customer who, let's say, comes in month 3 that you could actually attach sales to.
Josh,
but for a CPG company, go ahead, Dave.
One of the things that, when building out a level 1 forecast here, sales revenue, is how far deep do you want to go in terms of like building out those inputs, right? Because sometimes I build out, I have inputs with an output. Sometimes those inputs need to go a level deeper or even a deeper level after that. Like, how do you think about that?
It's a good question. And it certainly is more of an art than a science. I'm going to answer that in 2 ways. First, in terms of the balance between how much detail you put into your assumptions and your forecast versus how much of a, hey, this is just going to be a 5% growth rate. I generally find that for the near future, let's say 6 to 12 months, you want to try to get as laser focused and detailed on your inputs as possible, because the next 6 to 12 months is coming up and it's going to be a very important part of the business. Anything generally after 12, 18, 24 months, a lot of it is difficult to guess, especially given the fact that the business can change, the landscape can change. So on the longer term, it's generally a lot more common to apply just a basic growth assumption. But I want to take that one level deeper. And that is, I remember once I created this beautiful forecast that had all these complex inputs with all these different channels and all these different ways in which you can drive sales from those channels. And I spent weeks and weeks, and I was so excited to share it to the client. And he took a look at it and he's like, okay, this is cool. And the challenge that I then found was 30 days later, a month later, I didn't have access to any of this information. I didn't understand how many people were visiting his website and how many people were clicking on this link. And because of that, there was no way really to validate whether the assumptions I had in place were right or wrong, which, as we'll see as we get to a level 4 forecast, is a really important aspect.
Cool. Thank you.
So I hope that answers your question. I just want to share one other really popular sales channel, and that's specifically for, let's say, a consumer price goods company, where they'll invest a lot more in digital marketing. And maybe instead of an ARR model, it's more of a one-time, or let's say a repeat purchase. So an input can be the amount of ad spend that you put in, and maybe an assumed conversion rate. And from there, you can then get your total amount of customers, which you multiply against your actual sales. So a level 1 forecast really just involves your revenue build. And there's nothing wrong per se with a level 1 forecast, especially if you're in the early days of your business. There's not a lot going on. This is where you want to focus on, like we mentioned, popular with Series C companies.
Where in a company's life cycle, you talked about early stage companies may be okay with just a level 1 forecast. Where do you see a company kind of need to upgrade their forecast ability to this from level 1 and 2 to level 3? And we'll talk about level 4 in just a second.
It's a great question. I will answer that in 2 flags that I would say. The first flag to me is how exactly the company is funded.